TMNT Universe is meant for adult collectors and Ninja Turtles fans. Welcome to TMNT Universe, I'm Ultramex, and it's something I've been waiting to get into is the TMNT Ultimates from Super 7. We're going to start off with Raphael, so let's go!
It's the #1 source for Turtles fans, with reviews and news. TMNT Universe. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell.
Raphael, the Don't throw this at home, kids!
How's it going? Now, I've been sitting on these for a little while, but I am very excited to finally get into Super 7's TMNT Ultimates. And just in case you don't already know, these TMNT Ultimates are recreations of the classic Playmates figures, but in the Ultimate style, similar to what Mattel and Super 7 did with Masters of the Universe Classics. These figures were only available through pre-order with Super 7, but you may be able to find them at Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store. But enough of the setup, let's take a look at this guy. And here's the brown mailer box that all the figures will come in. You can see the Super 7 logo and Raphael on the front. But let's get this thing open. This is what I'm looking for, the slipcover. And again, the Super 7 logo and Raphael's name. And what I love about this symbol is it looks like a manhole cover, but it's also a turtle shell.
Bingo. Yeah, we're dealing with a real mind here.
I also like how it has this unique picture of Raphael with size on either side. And on the back we have the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle logo. But let's see what's inside. Alright, my first impressions, I'm pretty impressed with this packaging. It's a nice window box and a good layout. It gives you a good look at all the items inside, all these weapons over here, and other accessories like a piece of pizza, but we're going to take a look at those a little bit later. Raphael, the witty voice of the Turtles. Raphael is a hothead and the most opinionated, impulsive, and restless Ninja Turtle. Raphael loves nothing more than to test himself in battle, and trains for the sheer enjoyment. He's usually the one to leap into action and is nearly impossible to get him to back down. Aside from the bio, we have some other details like the turtle shell and power box. Some nice brick pattern all over it and some other graffiti. I really like this packaging. But enough about the box, let's open him up and see how this guy moves. I love that these have the classic Playmate styled heads. And those heads are on a ball joint, so it allows you to push the head forward, pull it back, get a lot of motion, and there is a little bit of a gap here, but when you're looking at the figure straight on, you don't really notice it that much. There's a lot of other enhancements, like these wrinkles in the skin, the texture on the shell. It's everything pushed up to 11. There's even a leathery style texture on the belt, and there's also these little metal clips on either side of the buckle. Just the little details. And the size he came with right out of the package fit perfectly in these holsters. I'm very happy with the general sculpt of this figure, all the various textures, like the shell right back here. This rubber belt goes all the way around and even has that fist dagger holder in the back like the original figure. It's hard to notice, but even the mask has a cloth texture, and I also love that the mask ties are flexible rubber. So for articulation, Raph has a hinge and rotation at the shoulder. He also has a bicep swivel. The elbow is a hinge and rotation, and the wrist is a rotation and a hinge, but this one goes left-right instead of up-down. And that articulation is the same on both sides. And that popped right off, but we'll get to extra hands in a minute. Alright, let's get to the lower half. And he has this waist swivel swing that, honestly, at first I wasn't sure what to make of, but this allows for some amazing poses. It's less of an ab crunch and more of a pelvic crunch. The leg swings out pretty far, giving you a nice kicking or split pose, and the pelvic crunch also rotates. So you could get him into a nice roundhouse pose, or even set him down on a vehicle. Now, looking at this figure, I noticed that he doesn't have any peg holes in either foot. But I've put him in a bunch of positions, and honestly, he stands up really well on his own. Raph is a great figure and everything I hoped it would be, but he also came with a lot of great accessories, so let's take a look at those.
Raphael, no sword on earth can withstand his side.
Raph came with an additional set of sides with a more silvery paint. Now, these got a little bent up in the package, but I'm sure a little hairdryer action will help me clear that right up. He also comes with a pair of silver painted throwing stars, and at this point my accessory bin is probably 90% throwing stars. And just like the original figure, he comes with this, which I always thought was supposed to be a climbing Shuko spike. But he also comes with the fist dagger. It's really nice to see these classic weapons recreated. Another classic weapon is this bladed kama. Now this version has more of a blade than the original, which was rounded on the ends. This is also silver painted, and it's made out of a flexible rubber plastic, which again you could straighten out with a hairdryer if you really wanted to. And what has to be one of the coolest accessories in this is an unpainted weapons rack, recreating the original weapons rack that came with the classic Playmates figures. It's even got the little feet on the side so you can stand it up if you wanted to take all the weapons off, but I'm not going to do that because I like how this looks. And what's extra cool is they are doing this for pretty much all the figures, including characters who never came with a weapons rack. And I can't wait to see what those look like. And one of my favorite accessories to get with any turtle figure is a turtle comm, and here we have a closed version and an open version. Now this is more reminiscent of the cartoon style, with the exception of the red parts of the shell matching Raphael's colors. But these things are pretty sweet. And what would a turtle figure be without a slice of pizza? I love the shape of this and how it looks like the cheese is actually melting. It even has a little bit of paint detail in the crust on the bottom. We have the always present extra pair of gripping hands, and a pair of open hand fighting posed hands. And we also have a pair of hands with spaces in the fingers for the side to stick through to get that classic Raphael pose. And the last accessory is this alternate head with longer bandana ties. These are made out of the same rubbery material, and this head looks a lot like the original Playmates figure, but in a more modern comic book style. There's a little bit of overspray on it. It looks really awesome, but let's see how it looks on the body. A quick head replacement, and here we are. But considering what these figures are supposed to be, I'm probably going to display mine with the original Playmates style head. And earlier I got a little distracted with the articulation and failed to notice that these have some awesome leg articulation, a very good rocker in the foot that'll get this guy into some seriously cool positions. But let's go back to that other head. That's more like it. Now, something really cool about this figure that I didn't go over with when I was looking at the articulation is that you can't really see any of the joints. There's no pins, there's no hinges, except for a few places like right here on the inside of the elbow where you see a disc joint, but 90% of all the articulation is hidden through the sculpt of the figure, and I really appreciate that. Which reminds me of the old Playmates figures where you really didn't see the articulation joints in those either. Speaking of which, let's compare the two. Right off the bat, the size difference is noticeable, where the Super 7 Raph is almost the size of two original Playmates Raphs. You can definitely see the inspiration that Super 7 took from Playmates in recreating these figures. Both Raphs have that same light green skin tone and generally have the same face sculpt, with Super 7's being a little more enhanced. One difference is the red in the mask, with the Playmates being a little brighter than the Super 7, but I think I like the darker one better. Other similarities between the figures is they share the same belt. Their bandana ties are both on the same side of the head, and they both have that fist dagger holster in the back of the belt. The attention to detail and reverence for the original figure makes this one of my favorite pieces in my collection. I'm already blown away, and this is just the first turtle in this series, so that leaves a lot to be excited for when it comes to TMNT Ultimates by Super 7. And I am super excited for Wave 2 because it has my favorite turtle, Leonardo, but there's still plenty of cool figures in Wave 1 to get to. And if you like this TMNT Ultimates Raphael concept art, you should really check out Nate Baertsch over on Instagram. I'll put a link in the description below. But that's all I have for today, so later, dudes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will return after these messages.
Hey guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to kick that like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I upload every Turtle Tuesday, so you can always come back to see what's new. You can also check me out on various social media, links in the description. And as always, for all things Turtles, check TMNT Universe.